Hello and what's up, everybody? My name is Josh. I'm your push coach. Excited to drop another little mini episode. I'm doing some mini episodes through the holiday season because I'm in the middle of doing a lot of really cool, exciting new things for 2025 that I'm really, really freaking pumped about. One of the things that I'm doing is literally next week. So the week of December, let me give you dates because I never know when you're listening. So December 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, I'm doing a really awesome 4-day leadership challenge with 10 plus guest speakers from all different companies. It's going to be amazing. And here's one of the things specifically that I will be teaching on. I want to talk to you about something today. This is really, really, really important. I told this to my 6-figure leaders this week. I said, when everything is going good and when the economy is great and people are just lining up to buy and everything is just so fun and easy, all people need is a leader who can cheer them on and just literally put on a hype show to essentially just keep them excited to keep going forward. But when times are hard, whether that be a year where the economy has been rough, check. Whether that be a busier time of the year that people get distracted, like the holidays, check. Whether that be just that maybe, in general, online business is going through some rough patches, check. When times are harder, people need more than a hype show. People need more than a cheerleader. What they need is a leader who has actually learned and developed the skills of actually helping people on an internal level. And here's what I mean by this. Almost all external problems have an internal root to the problem. Now, obviously, something like the economy is something we can't control, right? But here's what I found is when outward circumstances are trickier or more stressful or more overwhelming, however you want to put that, it causes internal beliefs that people already had to get triggered that much more. In other words, if someone already is having a hard time believing in themselves, if the economy is good and people are buying and everything is easy, it's pretty easy to overcome that limiting belief because you're getting so much outward affirmation and validation. You don't need as much support. You don't need as much help. However, when the external things become a little bit harder and a little bit more challenging, you'll find that the questions and the limiting beliefs and the doubts and the fears are that much louder because they're not getting as much outward affirmation as what they want. And when we don't get the outward affirmation that we want, all we have left to go off of is what we really truly believe on the inside about ourselves. And most people are still really, really, really struggling with that. I mean, guys, I talk to leaders, 6 and 7-figure leaders every single day that are struggling with that for themselves. So imagine what someone who is not a 6 or 7-figure leader must be struggling with on a day-to-day basis. And so one of the things that I'm going to be teaching inside the challenge is a lot of the principles and elements and tools from my life coaching certification because it is hands down the greatest leadership tool on the planet. In fact, I call it the universal leadership tool because if you know how to use true coaching, okay, so I want to point out the difference here. There's mentoring and then there's true coaching. Mentoring is when I'm telling you what to do based on something I've already done. So it's really just teaching. And there's nothing bad about that. There's nothing wrong with that. We all need to teach. It's literally what I'm doing today. But then there's true coaching. And true coaching is when I'm coming across something that either one, I haven't personally experienced, or two, I'm dealing with someone who is currently stuck in a headspace. And me just telling them what's worked for me isn't going to help them because if I'm not careful, they're going to actually use me to justify their limiting beliefs. Let me give you an example. Someone is struggling, just making up a story right now so I don't break confidentiality with any of my actual one-on-one clients. So let's just make up a story. Someone's struggling because maybe they've had a death in the family recently. and they come to you and they're like, I'm just really frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do about this. Because of this, I'm struggling to even show up for my business. I feel inauthentic. I don't feel genuine. I don't feel true because I'm struggling over here and dealing with all of this shit. But then I know I need to go on social media and be inspirational and talk about the business and the products. And I just can't sort through this. And you say, well, tell you what, this is what I do when I'm frustrated. A couple of months ago, my, friend was going through a hard time, or I'm trying to make up something that would be that we would try to compare. Like they might say their mom recently passed away, and we're like, well, I get it. That's a hard time. And when I've gone through a hard time, here is what I have done to get through it. And here's the problem with that is one, whatever hard time you went through, and I don't care what it was, or even if it was harder than what they are going through, it is not the same because this person is dealing with their own unique individual struggle. And when someone is going through a struggle, they don't want to hear that you went through the same thing. My youngest son went through 3 open heart surgeries. And he's fine now. Everything's good now. But people from our church would come bring us dinner, which was such a blessing, but also such a curse. It was a blessing because we appreciated them taking the time to bring us food because we were already behind financially because of everything we were going through. So it was a blessing, one less thing we had to worry about, but it was a curse because people thought by bringing us food, they had bought a check-in to see how our kid was doing and have a 30-minute conversation with us. And the last thing we want to do is have to tell people every single day over and over and over and over about our kid's situation. And people would say the craziest things. They would say, Josh, I know exactly what you're going through. When my son was born, he had a really bad cough and we were in the NICU for 2 days. And I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Your kid was in the NICU for 2 days? My kid is having open heart surgery. He's being hooked up to 30 different machines. He's literally swollen up to twice his body weight after the procedure. Like, this is not the same. If we are not careful, I'm giving a very dramatic situation on purpose to help you get the point. If we're not careful in trying to help people, we accidentally trigger them and actually make them feel like unseen and unheard. And everyone's greatest desire is to feel seen and feel heard. And if we're not careful, instead of actually having a space for them, helping them process and work through things so that they can then be more effective in their business and in their life and in everything, really, instead, we accidentally just throw some advice on them, think that the problem is fixed, and then move on. And then we have people sometimes that we're like, I've given them the right thing to do over and over and over. How come they just don't do it? Well, because they have other things going on that are holding them back from doing it. And so this is really important. It's the quote that changed my life more than any other quote in the world. I'll actually give you both of them. There's 2 quotes that changed my life more than anything else in the world. The first one says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate. That's a Carl Jung quote. It says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate. You see, people are walking around every single day with unconscious beliefs that are holding them back from the things they want to be doing. And until we help them address these unconscious beliefs, like I'm not good enough, this is never going to work for me, I'm afraid of failure, or I'm afraid of putting myself out there. Until we deal with these things, it's insane to think that people can just get over it and find a way to just work. Now, some of you are wired to where you can just get over it and work, okay? But that's not how most people are wired. And so we need to have more skills. We need to have more tools to actually help these people. Now, the second thing that is my second favorite quote that changed my life forever says this: it is arrogant and ignorant to assume that someone else can do exactly what you have done and get the same results. I'll say it one more time. And if you have your podcast speed turned up to 1.5, highly recommend you turn it back down to 1.0 because I literally live at 1.5. You're going to have to slow me down to normal speed, and you might even need to put me at like 0.75 to keep up. It is arrogant and ignorant to assume that someone else can do exactly what you've done and get the same results. It is absolutely ridiculous to assume the same thing that got you through a hard time will get someone else through a hard time. It is absolutely insane to assume that the same book that changed your life is the exact book that everyone else needs. Everyone is wired differently, uniquely, and individually. And as our job as leaders, our greatest job is to be able to have tools to help people on an individual level. Now, don't get me wrong. We also need to be able to take some of these tools and put them into effective use for groups, such as like team calls and group trainings and things like that. But even with this is so important. One of the most powerful things that I learned from life coaching is that when you help people on an individual level over and over and over and over, it better prepares you to help people on a more global level. Because when you help people on an individual level, you start to get to know what actual things are holding individuals back from taking action. And if you do 20 or 30 of those individual calls, you'll find that about 80% of them are struggling with the exact same thing. And then you can take the thing that 80% of people are struggling with and go teach that to the whole group, to the whole team, to the whole customer group, whatever that is. And all of a sudden, we become incredibly effective because we are now laser focused on the specific things that move people forward. So if you want to learn how to do that, two things you can do. Number one, make sure and register for the leadership challenge. If you're listening to this within a time span that's still happening, I know some of you might be listening to this 3 months later. That's totally fine. But you can go to joshcoates.com. And actually, we're going to put the link right here in the show notes for you. Make sure it's super easy for you. But it's actually joshcoates.com in case you're like driving and need to come back to this later. It's joshcoates.com/ just want to make sure actually that I get this real quick. Leadership. There it is. Yep. Just joshcoates.com/leadership. That's what I thought. I was just double checking real quick. joshcoates.com/leadership. And that will be the opt-in page, totally free 4-day challenge. Okay. If you don't care about that, don't want that, or maybe that time has already passed, you can also go to joshcoates.com. Scroll down toward the bottom and it says 2 ways to work with me. One is the 6-figure inner circle. The other is the life coach certification. So if you're like, this stuff really speaks to me, I'd really like to just, honestly, I just want to learn the life coaching. Like I want to get the full thing. You can go join the wait list for that. We are launching our next round in January. I'm so pumped for this. It's going to be our 9th round. We have, I think, about 260 people that we've now certified over the last 2.5 years. Going into round 9, you can jump on the wait list. And when you join the wait list, you will get a calendar link that will let you book a call with one of my master coaches and get a totally free session to just experience what coaching actually is. It's not a sales call, okay? It's a free coaching. It's my gift to you. So many people are like, you should buy this thing that's behind the curtain, and no, you can't see it, and no, you can't touch it, and no, you can't experience it. You just got to trust me. Fuck that. If you're about to spend your money with me, I want to let you actually touch and see and experience what it is you would be investing in. So go to joshcoates.com. You can jump on the wait list. We will get you on a call with a master coach to experience it for free. And if you really are interested, you can always talk to me directly as well. I'm more than happy to do that. But one of the reasons I give you a call with a master coach is if I can coach you, that is proof that I'm a good coach. But it's not proof that I can help you become a good coach. If you get a call with someone that I have trained, now you're seeing the actual, like you're seeing the skills that have been passed on from me to someone else. And that's a really, really powerful thing. There's not a lot of programs that will say, hey, take a free call with one of my students to see how well they learned from me. Instead, it's like, let me convince you that I can do this. But the reality is the certification is not about whether or not I can coach. It's about whether or not I can help you to coach. So grab one of those free calls if you're interested. I'd love for you to just experience it. It'll change your life forever. All right. I love you guys so much. I believe in you so much. If you get nothing else out of this call, I hope that you just get this. When times are easy, you can get away with being a cheerleader. But when times are challenging, or people that you're working with are going through challenging times, you're going to need more skills than just drinking coffee and talking a lot, which don't get me wrong, I love to do that, but I will forever be grateful that life coaching created a totally different side of the coin for me. Okay. Can I drink coffee and talk a lot? Absolutely. Yes, I can. I love to do it actually, but it's nowhere close to as effective as true coaching. All right. Love you so much. I believe in you. Have an amazing day, and I will see you on the next call.